My wife, Sandy, was undergoing IVF on the day of egg retrieval. Shortly after the procedure began, a surgeon rushed out to confront me. "You knew she was having surgery today. Why did you have sex last night?" I was stunned. We hadn't been intimate for over 5 months since starting IVF. This accusation felt like a thunderbolt. My head buzzed as the doctor tried to return to the oar, needing clarity. I stopped her. I didn't. She cut me off sharply. "You think denial changes facts? Just yesterday, we had a patient hide her cold symptoms. Now she's in ICU with bronchospasm. Liars come in all forms." The female surgeon clearly mistook me for some reckless jerk. Cornered, I revealed, "I'm a physician too. I know intercourse is prohibited during ovarian stimulation cycles. What evidence suggests we disobeyed?" Her tone softened slightly. All her follicles were prematurely emptied during ultrasound-guided retrieval. We retrieved 0 eggs. My heart sank. IVF journeys are marathon screenings. Hormone injections, egg retrievals, embryo transfers. To fail at the first major hurdle was devastating, even for someone accustomed to medical setbacks. But premature ovulation can result from various factors: exercise, stress, even cycling. I countered weakly. She gave me a pitying look. Let me be blunt. Her cervix showed significant edema with petechial hemorrhages and epithelial shedding. Combined with the trigger shot meant to prevent early release, we concluded she violated preoperative restrictions. Of course, this remains speculative. You should discuss this with your wife, she added more gently. I smiled bitterly. Who would know better than me about our abstinence? Since starting IVF, Sandy had been obsessively cautious, constantly repeating our reproductive specialist's warnings. Any accidental pregnancy during hormone therapy could complicate everything. I'd tease her nose affectionately. Such a rule follower? She'd melt against me purring, only for my favorite doctor. During ovarian stimulation, she'd even started walking like a delicate figurine. I kept reassuring her to live normally. Now they claim she'd engaged in vigorous sex the night before retrieval? Impossible. The failed procedure ended early. They wheeled out Sandy still groggy from anesthesia, even pale and makeup-free. Her delicate beauty shone through. I gazed at her face, remembering our beginning. We'd met through matchmaking. Our first date was scheduled for 5:30 in the afternoon. But a postoperative intestinal obstruction kept me in emergency surgery until the patient stabilized in ICU. I'd rushed to the restaurant expecting another angry missed connection. Instead, I found Sandy waiting calmly, smiling as she poured me lemon water without a single complaint. She was so understanding, and my heart instantly warmed. Plus, she perfectly matched my aesthetic. Her black bodycon dress accentuated her curves. Her rose-red lips looked irresistibly lush, and she taught art for a living, blending beauty with romance. She fulfilled nearly every fantasy I had for a partner. Honestly, I fell head over heels at first sight. We dated for 3 months before tying the knot. We initially took a laid-back approach to having kids, but after a year with no pregnancy, my medical training kicked in. I sensed one of us had an issue, though tests would tell. Sandy resisted at first. It's only been a year. Can't we just let nature take its course? I insisted, medically. A year without contraception qualifies as infertility. I reassured her, if there's a problem, we'll treat it. If not, staying calm will help. Right before the tests, she hesitantly confessed, during college, her first love got her pregnant, an ectopic pregnancy that cost her a fallopian tube. The doctor said some women conceive with just one tube. I shouldn't have gambled or hidden this. I was terrified you'd leave me. I love you too much to lose you. Her tearful plea that day melted my resolve. What adult doesn't have a past? She swore she'd had 0 contact with her ex since their split, and even showed me his untouched texts. I kept him unblocked out of indifference. Not attachment. I'll delete him if it bothers you. I shrugged it off. My own ex's number was still in my phone. Making a fuss would have made me petty. Another year passed with no luck. Finally, Sandy suggested IVF. I wavered. What if we check your remaining tube first? I prefer natural conception. But she was adamant. We'll need kids eventually. Dragging this out just prolongs the agony. Let's go straight to IVF. Her determined face made my chest ache. You're not scared of the pain? She nestled closer, terrified. But bearing your child makes it worth it. Maybe I'm not some strong, independent woman from those books. I just want to be your devoted wife. She kissed my cheek playfully, and I handed her my bank card on the spot. If she endured the ordeal, covering the costs was the least I could do. Astonishingly, she breezed through IVF with her usual glamour, only extra cautious on walks. Her resilience awed me. The night before her egg retrieval, I offered to swap shifts to stay with her, but she refused. Your hovering would stress me out. Yet here she was, choosing to cheat during this critical moment. Now, every red flag glares. Her poised demeanor never matched the struggling IVF patient image. Fury nearly made me storm out, leaving her to face the aftermath alone. But as her husband, I won't grant an easy divorce. She'll face consequences first. Grabbing her phone, I unlocked it with her fingerprint. Her chats showed nothing suspicious, no cleared histories. Her ex's last message? A birthday greeting she ignored last month. His family vacation photos got no likes or comments. My gut says tonight's lover isn't him. My head was pounding as I tried to figure out who that person could be. Before I could make another move, Sandy struggled and let out a weak moan. She was awake, fresh from surgery. Her voice trembled as she immediately asked, John, how many eggs were retrieved? I was taken aback that this was her first concern upon waking. Hesitating, I opened my mouth but said nothing. Sandy tugged at my sleeve. John, tell me. I remained silent, carefully weighing my words. Her face tightened with anxiety. Was the result that bad? A bitter laugh escaped me. Now you worry. Princess? Where was this caution yesterday when you were out partying? Clenching my fist to stop myself from slapping her, I nodded. The doctor retrieved 0 viable eggs. Tears immediately spilled down her cheeks. Instead of comforting her as usual, I watched coldly. She seemed to sense the shift, abruptly wiping her face and sitting upright. John, I need to confess something. So she planned to come clean directly? Bold move. Perhaps I'd underestimated her. Her tongue darted to moisten her lips as fresh tears fell. You know how carefully I've followed every IVF protocol. These past few days with the follicles growing, my abdomen kept swelling and barely moved for fear of early ovulation. This morning, when I used the bathroom, she swallowed hard. There was sudden sharp pain. When I stood up, everything went dark. I just knew. More tears cascaded down. The worst actually happened. Had I not known the medical truth, I might have believed this performance. Impressive storytelling and acting skills, clearly aiming for sympathy and framing this as an accident. But I wasn't born yesterday. I crossed my arms. Let's skip the theatrics. You're aware how many affairs get exposed through hospital exams. Bodies don't lie. Leaning closer, I hissed. The surgeon specifically mentioned your vaginal wall and cervix showed edema, congestion, hemorrhagic spots, and epithelial erosion. Care to explain that? To my surprise, Sandy showed no panic. Her expression mixed shame with peculiar relief, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. John, what ridiculous assumption is this? There's no that person. What I'm about to say, you can hate me, curse me, judge me, but don't question its truth. I gestured for her to continue. After collecting herself, she blurted, there was never anyone else. Last night, I felt this unbearable restlessness. Found that toy in the nightstand. Used it for maybe 8 minutes before the abdominal pain hit. I stopped immediately, drank warm water, and lay down. This morning the ache lingered. Call me stupid. Call me shameless. It's all my fault. Could this be true? Mentally reviewing medical possibilities, I had to admit the explanation fit. As Sandy tried stumbling into my arms, I caught her trembling form. John. She wept. How could you doubt me? Guilt unexpectedly flooded me. The surgeon, she blamed us for having sex last night. Sandy's tear-streaked face flushed with anger. How dare she make such baseless accusations? I'm filing a complaint. Even though it wasn't the same hospital, we're still part of the same healthcare system. Filing complaints over this made no sense. I quickly stopped her. Tears streamed down Sandy's face. John, she said, using my full name for the first time. Trust is the foundation of marriage. If you truly don't believe me anymore, let's get divorced after I recover. Damn it. Her tearful vulnerability stirred my pity. What if the surgical team had actually made a mistake? Yet suspicion lingered. Why didn't you call me last night during the emergency? Sandy sniffled and lightly punched my chest. You were on duty without arranging coverage. I couldn't make you abandon patients. Doctors' spouses understand these things. I mentally kicked myself, assuming a brief window of bad luck wouldn't matter. They say husbands cling to denial about infidelity until confronted with irrefutable proof. I used to mock that willful blindness. Now, walking this path myself, I'd rather believe my wife's stupidity than betrayal. Her phone interrupted us. Her parents were arriving. Please don't tell them the truth, Sandy begged. Say it was an accident. After consideration, I agreed. The moment my mother-in-law entered, she launched into dramatic lamentations about her daughter's ordeal. Not just suffering, but pointless suffering. The failed egg retrieval now required 3-day hospitalization for ovarian hyperstimulation complications, citing hospital responsibilities. I tried leaving. What's the use of marrying a doctor? My mother-in-law slammed drawers while packing, never around when needed. Mom. Enough. Sandy interjected weakly. The older woman squared her hips. Am I wrong? He abandoned you last night and now runs off again. I left without engaging. Instead of returning to work, clarity hit. I needed evidence. At our condo's security office, vehicle records showed Sandy's car never left. A contact checked hotel registrations using her ID, none from last night. So she truly stayed home. My gut said otherwise. Home became a crime scene investigation. No unfamiliar condoms. No stray boxers. No telltale diaries. Nothing. Yet unease persisted until I remembered one unchecked location. Would I search it? Yes. I couldn't sleep without checking. I called a buddy John Wilson had never met. He drove his car to bump hers in the parking lot. My buddy called her directly, claiming he'd accidentally scraped her vehicle. Gotta admit, Sandy kept her cool. She's lying in the hospital. I'm her husband. She should have asked me to handle this. Instead, her father showed up. Turned out Sandy had asked her dad to deal with it. My father-in-law looked startled to see me, but I prepared an excuse. The property management called me too, and I rushed back in panic. I'd already negotiated with the guy. He'd cover all expenses. My buddy bowed apologetically. My fault. Full responsibility. Don't worry about repair fees or compensation. I'll pay. I took the car keys from my father-in-law. Dad, go take care of Sandy. I'll drive her car to the dealership. On the road, Sandy called. I smiled. She screamed hysterically, leave my car alone. Go to work. I replied, I'm upset too. Took time off. Fixing my wife's car helps distract me. Her voice cracked. What's wrong with our family this year? Cursed? Why's everything happening at once? I comforted her lightly. Dad's getting old. You're sick. Let parents keep you company. Leave this to me. She grunted approval, telling me to update her. I parked and began inspecting. The dash cam wiped clean. Interesting. Opened the glove box. Tissues. Masks. Power bank. Lipstick. Not what I sought. Finally, The trunk. Storage box inside held parking cards, gas cards, sunglasses, and a brown bag. Unfamiliar. Never saw her carry it. Bag had no zipper, just a rope with dangling padlock. Inside, a pink iPhone. But I distinctly remember her current iPhone's white. Phone was off. Tried multiple passwords, failed. Risking lockout. I powered it off. Should I confront her with this second phone? If she deletes everything first, I'd have no proof. No, she'll slip up. Calming down, I realized I'd searched the house but forgot her computer. Returned home, computer off. Booted it, password protected. 3 failed attempts. Bitter laugh. Never knew she guarded against me this much. The angrier I thought, the worse it got. All lies, her toilet struggles. Couldn't help playing with toys. Nothing but deception. But with such meticulous thinking and cautious actions. Who was Sandy willing to risk everything for on the eve of her egg retrieval surgery? Sandy Wilson called to ask about the progress with her car repairs. Suppressing my anger, I told her it had been sent to the dealership. The damage wasn't severe, it would be fixed within a week at most. You shouldn't drive anytime soon. Just focus on resting, I advised. Perhaps my tone didn't match that of a betrayed husband, because she audibly relaxed. My decade-old laptop charger had been acting up, a fact I'd complained about at home multiple times. Seizing the opportunity, I requested to borrow her laptop under the guise of urgently revising grant applications. After brief hesitation, she reluctantly shared her password. Fortune finally smiled upon me. Upon startup, the Dashcam's cloud app automatically logged in without requiring credentials she'd forgotten to sign out last time. Scrolling through the files, I discovered irrefutable evidence of my wife's infidelity. The latest cloud recording showed Sandy's car never left our gated community, ultimately parking near the secluded villa area where I'd always forbidden her from wandering alone at night. There they were, my wife and her lover, audaciously carrying on in our vehicle. The audio hit like a gut punch, her coquettish giggles intertwined with Michael's low, teasing murmurs. Until this moment, I'd speculated about potential affair partners, old flames, classmates, even the gym trainer. Never had I imagined it would be Michael, my most trusted mentor, the chief colorectal surgeon at our hospital and my direct superior. Men dread their wives' infidelity, but which cuts deeper, betrayal with someone beneath you or above you? My consciousness seemed to detach, floating numbly above the scene. You're terrible, Michael, came her breathy reproach. I have surgery tomorrow. Couldn't resist seeing my little minx one last time. He chuckled. A pause. Doesn't this hurt, John? Smacking kisses drowned her half-hearted protest. What he doesn't know won't harm him. Did you like the handbag? I adore it. Though I can't wear it around John. It's too expensive. Men don't recognize quality. Tell him it's a $300 knockoff. The recording dissolved into primal grunts and her theatrical moans. As a fellow physician, Michael knew the risks of pre-surgical intercourse. This wasn't just betrayal, but deliberate humiliation. Clenching trembling fists, I methodically copied all cloud files to a USB drive. Miraculously, her WeChat also remained logged in. The damning messages revealed their affair's origin, sparking when Sandy first visited my department years ago. Michael had orchestrated their connection through art lessons for his daughters, gradually seducing her with rare first-edition books and original artworks that now adorned our bedroom. That antique dream of red chamber set by her pillow? A $150,000 courtship gift. The revelation burned. Every page I'd seen her lovingly caress now reeked of deception. These luxuries that money couldn't easily buy completely shattered her emotional defenses. She felt he profoundly understood her, akin to a soulmate. After deciding to undergo IVF treatment, in her depressed state, she actively sought comfort from Michael. He finally got his opportunity. On a weekday afternoon when Michael was on leave and I was working overtime. They succumbed to their disgusting affair in Sandy's art studio. The most infuriating part was yesterday afternoon when Michael hypocritically asked me while clocking out, "Your wife's about to have surgery. Why are you still working?" Like a fool, I reassured him I'd hold down the fort, only for him to immediately contact my wife. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited. My own wife and trusted mentor, how could they betray me like this? I'll not only divorce her, but ruin their reputations. Just then, my phone rang. Michael's call. I splashed water on my face, steadied my breathing, and called back. Michael asked, "Did Sandy's surgery go well?" I replied, "Not exactly. Turns out she ovulated prematurely. They couldn't retrieve any eggs." Michael feigned surprise. "No way?" As if he didn't know. I suppressed murderous rage as he understandingly approved my leave, spouting hollow platitudes about patience. His hypocrisy made me nauseous again. The fool I was covering for his surgical mistakes, defending him against patient complaints. And this is how he repays me? Sandy called asking if I'd finished using the computer. How transparent. I told her I'd come to the hospital immediately, warning myself not to act rashly. They're both hypervigilant now. I must wait for their guard to drop. Suddenly inspired, I contacted a computer science friend to plant spyware in Sandy's laptop. He delivered remotely. Now I'll monitor her every digital move. Returning to the hospital, I found Sandy's father had left while her mother remained. I insisted they needn't come tomorrow. I'd take personal leave to care for my wife. Her mother left with grudging approval. That night, as I gently touched Sandy's abdomen asking about discomfort, she flushed with guilt, murmuring about bloating. Nestling against me, she anxiously mentioned consulting doctors about restarting ovulation stimulation in 1 to 2 months. I pretended to comfort her. "Why rush? Let your ovaries recover. Maybe we should abandon IVF altogether. I don't need children. Just your health." She vehemently objected. "Other women manage this. I'll succeed next time." When I asked if she'd been pressured, she tearfully confessed, "Your mother called, prepared $400,000 for the best maternity center once I stabilize a pregnancy." I failed her. I dismissed my mother's expectations while secretly applauding her unintentional manipulation. The finest maternity center? How ironic. Every tender gesture now carried poisonous double meanings as I meticulously played my role. In your dreams. For the next month, I kept my composure and secretly monitored Sandy's every move. After behaving herself for over a week, she proactively contacted Michael. "This is all your fault. Brother, I told you to be gentle last time, but you insisted on being rough. Now my follicles released prematurely." This was followed by a blushing emoji. Michael didn't hold back either, pretending to care about her fragility before adding, "Maybe I'm just jealous of John. That bastard actually has a woman like you desperate to bear his child." After a long pause, Sandy replied, "John is so boring. I'm worried our child might inherit his personality. Anyway, I'll need IVF regardless. Whose child would it matter? Brother, didn't you say you only have 2 daughters and your wife's too old to give you a son? What if I secretly carry your child?" 3 blushing emojis followed. Hours later, Michael responded, "How? Who would have thought the modern version of replacing the royal heir would involve swapping sperm?" Their plan had 2 parts. First, use Sandy's previous failed egg retrieval as excuse to switch from public hospitals to a private fertility clinic open to special arrangements. Second, have Michael overload me with work while Sandy pushed me to freeze my sperm for embryo creation simultaneously, having Michael preserve his own. Then they'd bribe staff to secretly replace my sperm with Michael's during the procedure. These messages were exchanged during our department's major surgery. Mid-operation, Michael slipped away claiming emergency, leaving us attending physicians to finish. Turns out his emergency was sexting my wife. I preserved the evidence. My blood boiled at Sandy's betrayal. While scheming against me, she practically oozed infatuation for Michael. She even proposed embryo selection. I want so badly to give you a son, brother. After that, I'll find excuse to divorce John. Michael pretended to hesitate. But my wife, she hasn't wronged me. No need to divorce. Sandy insisted. Just keep loving me. Think of us as your second family. Your daughters could have brothers to support them later. Michael's fake concern followed. Wouldn't this wrong you? Not at all. She replied. Living with John is torture anyway. I'll claim postpartum depression and divorce him. He won't dare protest. Hee. Reading these messages felt like having my heart gouged out and thrown into Arctic waters, first searing pain, then numb iciness. Until now, I'd struggled with conflicting feelings. Michael had mentored me for over a decade since residency, guiding me through surgeries and securing my fellowship opportunities. As for Sandy, I truly loved her once. Did these two deserve complete annihilation? Now I despised my past mercy. Show weakness, and you'll be the corpse. Fate favors the decisive. Colleagues complained about surgical supply discrepancies. Checking records revealed Michael's fraud, using domestic staplers during operations, but billing for specialized imports tenfold price difference. Further audits showed systematic substitution of inferior supplies. Since discovering the affair, I'd stuck closer to Michael. At one drunken business dinner, I used his fingerprint to uncover kickback schemes with suppliers inflating equipment costs passed on to patients. His luxury gifts to Sandy? Funded by blood money. Disgusting leech. As for Sandy, I'll let their plan proceed straight into hell. Since she was willing to have an illegitimate IVF baby for that Michael guy, I'll let her have her wish. But she can forget about swiping my credit card freely anymore. 1 month later. First, call the bank to report the loss of the card I gave her. Then, go to the hospital's finance department to cancel that card and register a new account. Next, approach Michael. Hey Michael, need to discuss something. If Sandy asks about the salary card, tell her our hospital switched to annual salary payments this year. The money won't be available until December. Michael couldn't hide his surprise, but quickly composed himself. Why would Sandy ask me about your salary? We barely know each other. Your daughter takes art lessons from her, right? Just in case, she casually brings it up. I lowered my voice. Between us, I think she's seeing someone else. Michael gasped dramatically. No way. You two were the perfect couple. Got any proof? I grimaced. Nothing concrete. She's actually pretty naive. If she really cheated, there'd be signs. But I can feel her drifting away. Michael relaxed, adopting that know-it-all expression as he patted my shoulder. Listen, John. Women need sweet talk. Don't pressure her about the baby. These things happen naturally when you're both relaxed. Maybe you won't even need IVF. I nodded like the dutiful husband, knowing Sandy couldn't withdraw a single cent from that account anymore. True to form, Michael warned her later. We should lay low. John suspects you're cheating. Sandy panicked. He knows about us? Michael rolled his eyes. Of course not. He just thinks you're emotionally checked out. Since you're still with him, try acting like a proper wife. But I can't keep living this double life. Do it for me. Sweetheart, I know where your heart really lies. The next morning, Sandy surprised me with an early breakfast. You've been working so hard. John, let's have dinner at home tonight instead of the hospital cafeteria. I agreed, curious what game she'd play this time. Right on schedule. Michael unusually urged me to leave work early. Stop burning the midnight oil. Go be with your family. What perfect coordination between those two snakes. The moment I opened our door, sultry Japanese lounge music filled the air. No one in the living room. I pushed open the bedroom door to find our bed covered in crisp white linens. Sandy lounged provocatively in lingerie, her body artfully arranged with sushi pieces. hungry for Japanese cuisine. Hubby, she purred, her innocent makeup and pink pout creating that virginal yet seductive look she'd perfected. For a heartbeat, I almost fell for it. Then Michael's face flashed in my mind. Did they play this game too? Was this his idea? What other twisted scenarios had they acted out? My desire evaporated, replaced by disgust. The same features I'd found charming now reeked of cheap theatrics. Your surgery was barely a month ago, I said gently. We shouldn't risk your recovery. Her eyes welled up. Don't you want me anymore? Of course I do. I lied smoothly. That's exactly why I won't let you strain yourself. Get dressed. I'm taking you to Mastro's. Throughout dinner, Sandy picked at her steak listlessly. I clinked her wine glass. What's wrong, sweetheart? Not enjoying yourself? She forced a bitter smile. Exactly. I don't even feel attractive around my own husband anymore. I casually replied. Nonsense. I just worry about you. Continuing my act, I suggested. My work keeps me busy, and I feel I'm not taking good care of you. Why don't you stay with your parents for a while to recuperate? Sandy's eyes flickered, visibly relieved. She said, We're on the same page. I was going to suggest we start the second IVF cycle soon before my test results expire. What do you think? I frowned, deliberately hesitating. My stance remains, we could just be child-free. I don't want your health compromised. Besides, my father recently borrowed $30,000 from me for a property. Money's tight right now. I can't fund another round. The thought of failing to bear a son for her beloved lover clearly panicked her. We don't need your money, she blurted. I have savings, and my parents are willing to help. They support this. So desperate she'd pay to get pregnant? Fine. I'd oblige. If you're set on this, focus on the fertility diet. Staying with your parents means home-cooked meals, though it'll inconvenience them. She waved off the concern, already brightening at the prospect of easier rendezvous with her lover, chatting about her art student's antics. She reminded me to exercise for healthier sperm. Playing my part, I transferred $5,000 for living expenses at your parents'. She accepted without protest. Suddenly hesitant, she stammered, John, there's something else. That public hospital brought bad luck last time. Maybe we should try a private clinic? Which one? I asked neutrally. She named the facility where Michael held shares, a fact I'd previously dismissed as beneath his professional ethics. Now the truth glared. Reliable? I feigned uncertainty. Let me ask around. Other options exist. She shoved her phone in my face. Flustered. No need. I've researched. This is the one. It's my body, shouldn't I decide? Delighting in her agitation, I dialed Michael on speaker. Sandy's breathing hitched as she shoveled food into her mouth. Michael, Sandy insists on this private clinic for IVF. Heard anything about their reputation? Decent facility. He chuckled through the line. Made up your minds? Really going through with it? I'd rather adopt a child-free life. I sighed. But my wife needs to prove something. You know how stubborn artists are. After hollow pleasantries, Michael declared, That clinic's solid. Let me know if you need connections. Hanging up, I found Sandy's hopeful gaze. Well, what did your colleague say? Michael says it's good. You're the best. Her smile stretched ear to ear. Keep smiling. I thought. Your days are numbered. Let the embryo implant. Let your precious Michael crash and burn at work. Let the rumors spread. Soon, the trap springs. True to form, Sandy launched into another IVF stimulation cycle within days. Last time, I felt occasional pangs of sympathy when Sandy underwent IVF. But this time, I thought she deserved it, pure poetic justice. Her two-faced nature truly amazed me. Every blood test result and ultrasound report from the hospital would simultaneously reach both me and Michael. Whether she'd given Michael too much false security, or he'd grown tired of her, or perhaps someone new had entered the picture. After all, Michael recently recruited a tall, attractive female graduate student he couldn't stop praising. Michael clearly started neglecting Sandy. Their chat logs showed frequent instances of him leaving her messages on read. Even when replying, his responses felt perfunctory. Yet Sandy remained unfazed, interpreting it as jealousy. She swore to him, "There's nothing left between John and me. Remember when you urged me to take initiative? Nothing happened between us then. I'm only staying with him now to avoid complications with unwed motherhood paperwork. I'll divorce him immediately after registering the baby's birth certificate. I promise." I sneered internally. No need to wait for birth registration, though current laws protect expectant mothers. With solid evidence of adultery through paternity tests and documentation, John could file for immediate divorce under special circumstances and even claim damages. Following her plan, I went through sperm freezing when asked. Under Sandy's persistent pleas, Michael eventually complied too. True to form, Sandy executed her sperm-switching scheme flawlessly. This time, she successfully harvested eggs, created multiple embryos, and had them implanted. When confirming her pregnancy, she notified Michael first. I received the news secondhand. My heart soured with bitterness. Yet I managed flat congratulations. Was this what unexpected fatherhood felt like? Naturally, I preserved all evidence. Michael showed little enthusiasm about impending fatherhood, preoccupied with upcoming responsibilities. In 10 days, our hospital would host the Provincial Colorectal Surgery Annual Conference with industry experts attending. As keynote speaker, this was Michael's golden opportunity. With 4 competitive departments in our colorectal surgery division and the chief nearing retirement, this spotlight could determine promotions. Yet true to his nature, Michael delegated his presentation preparation to me instead of doing it himself. What perfect timing to insert those incriminating details into the final version. On conference day, I loaded the USB for him. Mid-presentation, his kickback negotiation chats with suppliers flashed on screen. Michael froze mid-sentence before fumbling to shut it down. The colorectal surgery chief and hospital dean stopped him. "Let's see what else you've prepared." Next slide revealed surgical footage showing standard domestic staplers being used while billing records displayed premium imported equipment. The chief glowered. "Any more surprises?" "Dr. Grant." Sweating profusely, Michael accidentally triggered an audio file while trying to abort the presentation. His smug voice echoed through the auditorium. "Not every rectal cancer or complex fistula needs Da Vinci robotic surgery. But when wealthy patients come in, just emphasize precision and safety, they'll bite. Each robotic surgery starts at tens of thousands. Easy department revenue booster." I'd secretly recorded this conversation between Michael and his new graduate student in the office. The hidden audio file was programmed to autoplay with any click. His frantic attempts couldn't stop the damning recording. The dean stood as screens finally darkened. "Explain yourself." Dr. Grant, confronted with irrefutable evidence. Michael stammered incoherently. The dean's voice boomed. "Medical practice demands moral integrity. You've trampled our Hippocratic oath." Before the conference concluded, officials from Health Commission, disciplinary inspection authorities, and market regulation arrived. Exposed in public with his reputation in the industry completely ruined, Michael faced more than just disgrace. His involvement in the current medical anti-corruption crackdown would cost him his medical license and land him in prison. Michael was finished. No, I hadn't included his affair with Sandy in the presentation. This wasn't solely about avoiding embarrassment in front of colleagues. Violations of medical ethics carried heavier consequences than extramarital affairs. Those explosive details needed to be saved for Sandy herself. After learning about Michael's downfall, Sandy tossed and turned all night. The next morning, she became unusually affectionate, guiding my hand to her abdomen with forced tenderness. Baby, this is your daddy. Knowing Michael's child grew inside her made me nauseous. I subtly withdrew my hand. With Michael's situation and our department overloaded, I need to go. Her emotional dependence grew daily as her pregnancy progressed. Checking the calendar, I knew it was time. November 3rd, our anniversary. I suggested hosting both families for celebration. My recent aloofness had left her insecure, and this gesture reassured her. She eagerly booked venues and cakes while I privately arranged with the event host for a surprise love confession video. During the gathering, Sandy shamelessly approached my mother. When will I receive the promised reward? Forewarned. Mother coldly replied, after delivery. Prove it's a Wilsonaire first. As cake cutting commenced, I seized the microphone. After difficulties, we're blessed with Sandy's 2-month pregnancy. To celebrate this double happiness, I've prepared a special tribute. Romantic music faded as the screen flickered from wedding photos to explicit footage of Sandy and Michael's car encounters, accompanied by their vulgar messages. Sandy lunged for the laptop, but I blocked her. You treacherous snake, she screamed. Public humiliation? I regret ever choosing you. Her father slapped her. This disgrace is your doing. The mother shrieked defense. What's wrong with securing better genes? Better genes sitting in jail? Sandy wailed before cake projectiles flew likely from my relatives. The brawl required police intervention. The stress-induced miscarriage came swiftly. When I filed for divorce days later, she threatened using remaining embryos. Not all are Michael's. You're still the father. Blastocysts can be DNA tested. I countered coldly. Shall we? The color drained from her face. As a clear-cut adulterer, she gained little during the mandatory cooling-off period before our clean split. Meanwhile, Michael's downfall continued. Multiple female students jointly accused him of academic coercion and sexual misconduct under the guise of thesis guidance. Leaked intimate recordings and messages shocked the community again. 6 months post-scandal, I became lead surgeon of the colorectal department's first Ward A popular promotion. As expected, interestingly, the new department head wasn't any existing senior, but an external appointee. Hospital administration works in mysterious ways. However, this senior colleague trusted me deeply. He repeatedly hinted, both openly and subtly, that he intended to mentor me seriously. During this period, I was promoted to associate professor and appointed as a graduate advisor. How does it feel? The competition is fierce, with pressure and motivation coexisting. The revolution is not yet complete, and there's still much work to be done. In my personal life, more colleagues at the institution started introducing potential girlfriends. If I didn't decline, I could have blind dates scheduled from Monday through Sunday. Female students also seemed quite admiring, sweetly calling me Professor John all the time. The day before yesterday, a student clutched her chest, suspecting viral myocarditis after a cold, and asked me to auscultate. I sternly refused, telling her to diagnose herself. I advised her to exercise more, as poor physical condition isn't suitable for medical studies. Yesterday, another student said I looked super handsome in my white coat, comparing me to a male model wearing an Armani trench coat. See, men face so many temptations, but I maintain impeccable self-discipline. Whenever work requires me to be alone with a woman in a room, I stand by the door, keep it wide open, and speak loudly. What can I say? Lust is a blade hanging over one's head, better safe than sorry. As for Sandy, she came looking for me recently. One late night, she squatted at the entrance of my apartment complex, pitifully clutching my sleeve. I used to fall for this act, but now the mere sight of her disgusts me. Her opening line made it worse. John, I donated all those embryos to the hospital for stem cell research. That means I've cut all ties with Michael. I shook her off. First, why should I care? Second, we're divorced. I'm not your husband. Sandy pleaded, I'm contributing to medical science too. Please give me another chance. I stared her down. If you think we can reunite, either you're a fool or I am. And I refused to be the fool. I walked away without looking back. She screamed desperately, can't we start over? Can't love have a second chance? I didn't answer, only flipped her off with contempt. Those who betray their partners don't deserve to speak of love. As for who I'll meet in the future, I'll let fate decide. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more exciting stories. And drop your thoughts on this one in the comments. See you next time.